Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. Dynamite tonight was from the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee, and the show just ended. This show sucked tonight. Dynamite was absolutely awful tonight. The card was very weak. It felt like I was watching a 2-hour rampage. That's how Dynamite felt tonight. Even more, it felt like I was watching a Monday Night Raw edition of Dynamite. Now, look what we got on the card tonight for Dynamite, which Dynamite was called Fight for the Fallen tonight. This is what we got on Dynamite tonight. The International Championship was on the line. Orange Cassidy defended the title against Wheeler Yuta. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne took on the Gates of Agony, Leona, and Kong. We had a Texas Chainsaw Death match with Jeff Jarrett versus Jeff Hardy. And the reason why this match took place is because they were promoting the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that's coming out. We had Doc Britt Baker, DMD, versus the Bunny. The winner gets to go to Allin in the four-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. And the main event, we had the Young Bucks versus Austin and Colton Gunn. Yeah, that was Dynamite tonight. Awful show this was. And there was some cringe moments in that Texas Chainsaw Death match, which I will get to. What an awful show this was tonight. But we are officially 1 week away from Allin in London, which Allin, shaped up to be a good show so far. Has a pretty good card. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Dynamite opened up tonight with the International Championship on the line. Orange Cassidy defended the title against Wheeler Yuta. Of course, once again, Tony Khan's golden boy opens up Dynamite. So the match got underway. Yuta ended up dodging an orange punch attempt from Cassidy. Cassidy ended up fighting back as Yuta was beating him down. And this led to both Yuta and Cassidy trading strikes. They ended up taking each other down to the canvas. Yuta ended up getting the upper hand by taking Orange Cassidy out of the ring. And then Yuta ended up hitting a dive to Cassidy, which both guys ended up fighting on the outside. We had Orange Cassidy deliver a suplex to Yuta on the floor, which led to both Yuta and Cassidy being down. Cassidy made it back to his feet. Yuta ended up crawling away, but it turned out to be a ruse because Yuta ended up hitting a pile driver to Orange Cassidy, which dropped Cassidy onto the ramp. Yuta then still attacked Cassidy. Yuta was mocking Cassidy with Cassidy's kicks, his dangerous kicks. And Yuta ended up sending Cassidy back to the ring. So Yuta ended up going for the cover, and Orange Cassidy ended up kicking out. And then Dynamite went to commercial. So as Dynamite came back from the commercial, Yuta ended up focusing on Cassidy's injured hand. He was stomping away on it. Yuta was hitting some forearm strikes to Cassidy. So Cassidy started to fight back. He ended up sending Yuta to the ropes. Yuta hanged on to the ropes, but he got sent out to the floor by Cassidy. Cassidy ended up hitting a dive to Yuta into the barricade. Yuta got sent back into the ring by Cassidy. Cassidy ended up climbing up to the top, but he was then intercepted by Yuta. Yuta ended up going up to the top, and he delivered a superplex to Cassidy. So both guys were on the canvas. So Yuta got up, and he ended up going up to the top. He ended up hitting a diving splash to Cassidy, which he ended up going for the cover, and Cassidy ended up kicking out. So Yuta was looking to go for a stomp to Orange Cassidy's face, but Orange Cassidy countered with a roll-up. Cassidy ended up getting dropped by Yuta. So Yuta then hit the ropes, but Cassidy came back. He delivered a Michinoku driver to Yuta. So Orange Cassidy ended up going for the cover, and Yuta ended up kicking out. Cassidy was going to go for the orange punch to Yuta, but then he saw Jon Moxley and also Claudio Castagnoli showing up at ringside. So they were taunting Orange Cassidy by faking Yuta out with an orange punch. So Cassidy then ended up hitting an orange punch to follow up, but ended up getting rolled up by Yuta, to which Cassidy ended up kicking out. So Cassidy ended up pinning Yuta to pick up the win. So there you go. Orange Cassidy ended up winning the match, retaining the International Championship. Post-match, the Blackpool Combat Club went to attack on Cassidy. So we had Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. Yuta end up beating Cassidy down. And so the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, end up coming out. And then the Lucha Brothers made their way to the ring. So he ended up clearing the Blackpool Combat Club out of the ring. So we had the Blackpool Combat Club end up regrouping on the outside. So they end up grabbing steel chairs. And Eddie Kingston ended up making his way out. Eddie Kingston was returned to Dynamite tonight. He was in Japan. So Kingston started beating down on the Blackpool Combat Club. So the Blackpool Combat Club ended up getting run out of the ring. They ended up escaping through the crowd. Fans were popping for Eddie Kingston. Kingston got on the mic, and Kingston called out the Blackpool Combat Club. So Kingston ended up laying out a challenge for the Blackpool Combat Club. He ended up saying that at Allin, he wants a stadium stampede match. So pretty much that was that. So we got a stadium stampede match at Allin. We haven't seen a stadium stampede match in a while. So it's going to be Eddie Kingston and the Lucha Brothers and the Best Friends taking on the Blackpool Combat Club and 3 other challengers, teaming with the Blackpool Combat Club. Who they're going to be, I don't know. So we had that for Allin. But overall, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta, it was an okay match, though. So then we saw Jim Ross, good old JR. He was interviewing Kenny Omega. So Kenny Omega ended up addressing his connection with Don Callis over the years. We find out that Don Callis is actually a friend of Omega's uncle, hence the Uncle Don remarks. So Kenny Omega ended up saying that you can't choose your family, even if Don Callis seems to be choosing his. So then all of a sudden, Don Callis showed up. Callis ended up calling Omega out. And then we had Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson and Jay White. They ended up rushing in. They blindsided Omega, started beating him down. Konosuke Takeshita ended up coming in there. He ended up joining in the attack on Omega. So the Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita end up laying Omega out. And Don Callis then ended up saying that they want to see the god of pro wrestling. So pretty much that was that. It was a little interview here with Jim Ross and Kenny Omega. It was, pretty decent. And then we saw Hangman and Page. Hangman and Page was outside a hospital. And Hangman and Page ended up calling out Don Callis. He then announced a match for Allin, as it's going to be him, Omega, and Kota Ibushi versus Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita, which that's going to be one hell of a 6-man tag at Allin. I mean, you got Omega, Page, and Ibushi. That's a good team there So, of course, very happy that Ibushi's going to be at Allin. So, but should be a very good six-man tag at Allin. So then as Dynamite came back from the commercial, Don Callis was in the ring. Of course, Jericho was going to address if he's going to join the Don Callis family. So we had Don Callis hyping up Chris Jericho. Jericho was already in there. No Judas tonight. Judas wasn't played. So Don Callis ended up addressing what happened last week with the Jericho Appreciation Society. So Jericho ended up saying that it was disappointed to see the JAS walk out on him. He ended up saying that he stands by what he said before. Jericho ended up saying that he doesn't join factions, and he creates them. He ended up saying as far as joining the Don Callis family, Jericho ended up saying that he knows his answer. And Jericho's answer was yes. So Don Callis was all ecstatic at that, of Jericho's answer to join the Don Callis family. So he ended up giving Jericho a hug. Both Jericho and Don Callis ended up getting ready to leave the ring. But Jericho noticed a picture hiding under a black cloth in the ring. So Jericho ended up saying to Don Callis that he really wants to see the picture. And Don Callis ended up claiming it is the two of them. So Jericho went over to the picture that was hiding under the black cloth. Jericho pulled the cloth off, and it revealed a painting of Don Callis holding Chris Jericho's head, to which Jericho was not pleased with that. And he realized that Don Callis had this made, anticipating that Jericho would turn him down and not join the Don Callis family. So Don Callis ended up trying to backpedal. So Jericho demanded the truth from Callis. Callis ended up admitting that he thought Jericho would say no because of Jericho's massive ego. So Don Callis started running Jericho down. He ended up saying that Jericho doesn't even deserve to be in the Don Callis family. Jericho ended up asking, who was Don Callis? He ended up saying years ago, Callis wasn't even in the business, and no one cared. He ended up saying, thanks to him, Callis joined AEW and became a much bigger deal. Jericho ended up saying that he's known Callis since 1989. And then he started running down Callis some more. And then Callis slapped Jericho. And that led to Jericho going after Don Callis. And Konosuke Takeshita came in and he intervened. Jericho fired off Takeshita. And then Jericho was then knocked down by Will Ospreay. So Will Ospreay has now joined the Don Callis family. Ospreay grabbed a chair and he ended up hitting a chair shot to Jericho's head. So Jericho was busted open from that chair shot. So Don Callis grabbed the painting and he ended up smashing the painting over Jericho's head. So Jericho, still busted open. So Sammy Guevara rushed down to the ring. And we had the Don Callis family hightailing out of the ring. And they went up the ramp. And pretty much that was basically that. Obviously, the turn of Jericho joining the Don Callis family, we all knew it was going to happen. He was going to say yes. But then we got the twist, revealing that Don Callis, just made a goof of Jericho. And, pretty much that was that. But overall, just a very meh segment it was. And then we had Darby Allin and Nick Wayne versus the Gates of Agony, Doa Leona and Khan. So we had Darby Allin and Nick Wayne. They ended up making their way down to the ring. Both Darby Allin and Nick Wayne got blindsided by Khan and Doa Leona. And the match ended up starting, and Swerve Strickland and AR Fox ended up coming out. They were up on the stage just watching the match. So the Gates of Agony just started being down more on Darby and Nick Wayne. We had the Gates of Agony launching Nick Wayne back first into the barricade, which that looked brutal. So we had Khan and Doa Leona end up attacking Nick Wayne, and they would tag it in and out, both Khan and Doa Leona frequently. They end up dropping Nick Wayne with a double choke slam. Nick Wayne ended up avoiding Khan and Doa Leona, and it allowed Darby Allin to tag in. Darby Allin ended up clearing house on the Gates of Agony, and the Gates of Agony ended up regaining control of the match. The Gates of Agony ended up hitting a double team, which forced Nick Wayne to break up the pin. So Gates of Agony ended up missing a splash attempt in the corner. Nick Wayne ended up sending Doa Leona out to the floor. So Nick Wayne ended up heading back to the ring to nail Khan with Wayne's World. That's Nick Wayne's finisher, the Wayne's World. Party time, excellent. Extreme close-up. Yeah, you all know Wayne's World, classic movie. So every time I'm going to hear Wayne's World, I'm just going to think, oh, party time, excellent. So Darby Allin ended up connected with the coffin drop to Khan, and Nick Wayne ended up delivering a moonsault to the outside. And so we had Darby Allin end up going for the pin. So there you go. Darby Allin and Nick Wayne ended up winning the match. Post-match, Swerve and AR Fox, they were looking to go after Darby and Nick Wayne. So Sting ended up showing up on the screen. We got a sort of Joker Sting. He was acting like the Joker. And Sting was hyping up the coffin match at Allin between Swerve, AR Fox, Darby, and Sting. So pretty much he ended up saying that he loves it. He's going to love this coffin match. And it was revealed that Sting was sitting alongside Prince Nana, because Prince Nana wasn't at ringside for the Gates of Agony. So we had Sting scaring off Prince Nana, and that was basically that. He kept saying, oh, it's showtime. So pretty much that was that. But I really liked, Sting here acting, just like, the Joker. It was pretty cool. But overall, this tag team match with Nick Wayne, Darby Allin, and the Gates of Agony, just a very meh match it was. Didn't really care for it. And then we saw Adam Cole and MJF. And they were preparing for their Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match against Aussie Open at Allin 0 Hour. And this was another MJF and Adam Cole bonding segment. And they ended up going to Outback Steakhouse. So they went there, and a point where Adam Cole was like, oh, do you want to watch Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2? Which Adam Cole had the DVD in hand. But MJF was like, oh, I saw this video that you will like. And it's footage of kangaroos fighting. So it was pretty funny. MJF was doing a kangaroo fight move, which was, funny. So we had Apparently, MJF and Adam Cole, they have double clothesline someone backstage. And then Tony Khan ended up calling both MJF and Adam Cole into his office. So Tony Khan ended up screaming at the both of them. Tony Khan was like to the both of them, "Oh, keep the double clotheslines in the ring." So then MJF and Adam Cole end up coming out of Tony Khan's office. MJF ended up saying, "Oh, he's going to regret that." And then Tony Khan ended up appearing again. And he was acting all nicely, with them. And so then he went back to his office, and pretty much that was that. But like I said, these MJF Bond segments, they are very funny and, awesome. Love them. And Tony Khan, he thinks he's playing boss here. He's screaming at MJF and Adam Cole. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes on behind the scenes of AEW because of all the drama that we have heard that's going on in the AEW locker room. I won't be a surprise if Tony Khan is like this behind the scenes, shouting to some of the superstars, about the drama going on back there. So yeah, he's playing boss. So then we had MJF and Adam Cole. They made their way out to the ring and they posed for the crowd. And before this, MJF ended up driving in a nice red car along with Adam Cole. So Adam Cole started to talk about Allin. MJF ended up interjecting to put over the kangaroo kick. So the pair, MJF and Adam Cole, end up agreeing to focus on using the double clothesline. Adam Cole then ended up addressing the main event of Allin. Adam Cole was getting ready to face MJF once again for the AEW World Championship. He ended up saying, 9 months ago, doctors told Adam Cole that he might not be able to wrestle again. But now, he's about to be in the main event of the biggest wrestling show of all time, challenging for one of the most prestigious titles in the business and facing one of his best friends in MJF. Adam Cole ended up telling MJF as his friend that once the bell rings, he will do whatever it takes to win that AEW World Championship. MJF was like, "Oh, that's a great story, but it's too bad he is better." He ended up saying that when he first got into the sport, he was told to write down 2 dream opponents. The first one was Cody Rhodes. Oh, well, I'm shocked that MJF mentioned Cody Rhodes, since Cody Rhodes is in WWE. And his second dream opponent was Adam Cole. He ended up saying years later, he worked really hard to make a name for himself on the indies before 2018, and the original Allin rolled around. MJF ended up saying that he sent Cody a DM asking for an opportunity, saying he would not disappoint. He ended up saying after a bit of waiting, he got his opportunity from Cody himself. So MJF ended up saying that he turned some heads with his performance, including Tony Khan, who offered him a contract with AEW. MJF then went on to say that without Allin, there is no him. And over time, he grew into the generational talent they see today. He ended up saying that he sees an opportunity to once again be at Allin, in front of one of the biggest crowds, and facing one of his best friends, in Adam Cole. MJF ended up saying that the only thing that matters more than their friendship is the Triple B, representing everything he's gone through to get to that point in his career. And there was a point where MJF ended up mentioning WWE here in his promo. So MJF ended up saying that if Adam Cole thinks that because he is his best bud, that he's going to lay down for Adam Cole, he's out of his mind. MJF ended up saying that a win in Wembley will make him legendary. So Adam Cole was like, made the best man win. So, Aussie Open end up coming into the ring. They end up attacking Adam Cole and MJF. Cole and MJF end up stopping Aussie Open before looking to go for the double clothesline. And Aussie Open end up escaping out of the ring. And they headed back up the ramp. So MJF ended up posing with the AEW World Championship. Adam Cole geared up for what appeared to be a blindside on MJF. But Cole ended up changing his mind as MJF turned around. So eventually they both end up hugging it out. Aussie Open then stared MJF and Adam Cole down from the ramp. And that was basically that. Overall, I thought this was a fun segment. This was probably the best thing on the show tonight. You know, gotta love Adam Cole and MJF together. You know, great promo from both these guys. You know, it's a good build for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship at Allin. And then we went backstage. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett were watching. So they were watching, you know, MJF and Adam Cole heading back up the ramp. And then we went backstage. Renee Paquette ended up talking to Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was still bloodied up from the chair shot from Ospreay earlier. And also Don Callis smashing the picture frame on Jericho, you know, also earlier. So Jericho ended up addressing Will Ospreay. He ended up calling Ospreay out for a match at All In. He ended up saying that Ospreay doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. And that was that. So we're getting Jericho versus Will Ospreay at All In. It's going to be one hell of a match there. You know, like Jericho, like Will Ospreay. So they're going to deliver at All In. And then we had Justin Roberts. Justin Roberts ended up making the introductions to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch between Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy. Tables were set up in the corner. Jeff Hardy ended up coming out first. And he got into the ring. And he then left the ring. And he quickly went backstage. And he was searching for Jeff Jarrett. So then Jeff Jarrett blindsided Jeff Hardy. And the match got underway. And we saw all these random red lights backstage. I'm like, what is this? You know, this is like The Fiend. Remember when The Fiend had the red light in, you know, Bray Wyatt? This is what it looked like backstage. But this match was awful. This was fucking awful. Absolutely terrible. So Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy end up going at it. Jeff Hardy ended up getting the upper hand on Jarrett. And then Satnam Singh and Karen Jarrett got involved. We had Brother Zay, you know, Isaiah Cassidy, Mr. And Ethan Page and Matt Hardy even out the odds. And they are pouring a bucket of red liquid over Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett. And then Dynamite went to commercial. Then when Dynamite came back from the commercial, Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett made their way to ringside. And they got to the stage. Jeff Hardy ended up choking Jarrett out with a shirt. And everyone else was fighting toward the back. Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy ended up getting to the ring. And smoke appeared to be coming out from underneath the ring as Jeff Hardy and Jeff Jarrett got into the ring. Jeff Hardy ended up getting a kendo stick, and he ended up beating down on Jeff Jarrett with the kendo stick. So Brother Zay and Ethan Page end up beating up on Jay Lethal. Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt. So we had a table set up. They have set Jarrett up on the table. And so, Jay Lethal and, Satnam Singh, Sanjay Dutt end up pulling, Jeff Jarrett off. So Jeff Jarrett was on the table, and Jeff Hardy ended up flying off with a swanton bomb that drove Jarrett through the table. So Jeff Hardy ended up going for the cover. Jay Lethal broke up the pin. So everyone was taking turns going after each other in the ring. It was a clusterfuck here. So Jarrett ended up grabbing a guitar from ringside, and Jeff Hardy ended up knocking Jarrett out with the guitar. And then we hear a sound of a chainsaw. And that signaled the arrival of somebody dressed as Leatherface. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This was cringe. This is something that you would see on Monday Night Raw. I'm like, did Vince McMahon book Dynamite tonight? Look at this. This is how Leatherface looked on Dynamite tonight. This guy dressed up as Leatherface. Like, what the fuck? What the hell is that? So, we had Leatherface chasing down Karen Jarrett, and Jeff Hardy ended up getting attacked by Satnam Singh, which led to Jeff Jarrett getting the cover. So there you go. Jeff Jarrett wins this Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match. Who cares? Ref presented Jeff Jarrett with a special championship on winning this match. Had a side plate of Jarrett's face on it. Who cares? This match was fucking awful. This is something that you would see on Monday Night Raw. The only reason why they did this match is because to promote the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game that's coming out. It's the only reason why this match was booked for Dynamite tonight. But what an awful match this was. Moving on. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus The Bunny. Qualifying match for the 4-way match at Allin for the AEW Women's World Championship. This was a quick match. Who do you all think won this match? If you said Dr. Britt Baker DMD, you were right. Britt Baker won this match. Britt Baker ended up delivering a kick to the Bunny. Man, there you go. Britt Baker won the match. She is advancing into the 4-way match at All-In for the AEW Women's World Championship. So it's going to be Saraya and Britt Baker and Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida, who is the current AEW Women's World Champion. So that's at All-In, 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. But overall, quick match this was. Just a very meh match this was. So then, we had the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed ended up coming out, and they were going to face local talent in tag team action. But the match didn't get underway because the lights ended up going out in the arena. When they came back on, the House of Black were in the ring. Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black. So they ended up beating down on the Acclaimed. So we had Buddy Matthews and Brody King end up beating down on the Acclaimed. Julia Hart ended up taking Billy Gunn's boots. And it was the same boots that Billy Gunn put in the ring to signal his retirement, which I have to say, his retirement thing, I think that Billy Gunn is going to come back. I think he's going to turn on the Acclaimed, and he's going to realign with his sons. That's how the way I see it. That's how the way, I'm thinking of this. Max Caster was busted open from the House of Black. So Julia Hart ended up holding up the boots of Billy Gunn. And pretty much they were taunting the Acclaimed with the boots, and that was that. But overall, I thought it was just a very meh segment, in my opinion. Main event: the Guns versus the Young Bucks. And this was a decent match here. So the Bucks end up attacking the Guns as they made their way out. We got a brawl between these teams. So the match started with Matt Jackson and Colton Gunn in the ring. We had, the Guns end up going out of the ring. Nick Jackson ended up diving out of the ring and took both the Guns out. The Guns end up managing to get control of the match. They end up isolating Matt Jackson inside the ring. And the Guns were making frequent tags with each other there. Matt Jackson ended up trying to tag out to Nick Jackson, but the Guns didn't let him. Colton Gunn ended up nailing a drop kick to Matt Jackson. He ended up sending Nick Jackson off the ring apron. So both the Guns end up missing Wiley in the corner. And Matt Jackson ended up leaping over the Guns, ended up tagging in Nick Jackson. Nick Jackson hit a huge crossbody on the Guns. Austin Gunn ended up eating a super kick, and then we had a running kick from Nick Jackson being delivered to Colton Gunn. Nick Jackson then dived back into the ring. He ended up playing Austin Gunn headfirst onto the canvas, and then he ended up diving out to Colton Gunn. So Austin Gunn ended up avoiding the BTE trigger, and Colton ended up diving in and saved Austin Gunn. So Austin Gunn ended up tagging in. Nick Jackson ended up delivering a kick to him, and the Guns then ended up hitting a double team and planted Matt Jackson. It led to Nick Jackson diving from the top turnbuckle to break up the pin attempt. So at the end of the match, we had Matt Jackson end up going for a roll-up on Austin Gunn, and Nick Jackson ended up holding Matt's arm to ensure that Austin can't kick out. So there you go. The Young Bucks ended up winning the match. Post-match, Jay White and Juice Robinson end up attacking the Bucks, so they started beating them down. FTR then end up coming to the ring, and we had the Bucks and FTR end up taking out Jay White and Juice Robinson, and pretty much basically that was how Dynamite went off the air. Overall, decent main event match between the Guns and the Bucks here, but overall, just an awful Dynamite this was. You could tell just by the card for tonight's Dynamite that they just phoned it in. Just, if you didn't watch the show tonight, you missed nothing. But anyways, that's it for the Dynamite review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and the next video will be a movie review of Blue Beetle, which I'm seeing the film tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. So there will be a movie review of that coming up. So until then, I'll see you all later.